Hey, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about elements and principles of design. Let's talk about the design elements, all right? Visual design elements, there's 8 of them. They're point, line, color, value, shape, form, space, and texture. And this is very important because this is half of what we're going to be learning about today. These are the visual design elements, meaning these are the things that go into design when someone is designing a boat, a car, a tablet, a chair, a desk, a picture, a refrigerator. These are all the things that go into it's not just kind of hodgepodge together. It's important for you to realize that these things are taken into careful consideration when they're building, or not building, but designing these objects. Okay, point. It's the most basic element of design. Has position but no dimension. Can be described by coordinates on a plane used to indicate location. Point. We have these individual points on here, these specific points. We point to things, but point's the most basic of them. Line is probably the one that's used the most common. Has only a length dimension. Can be used to define a boundary, indicate volume, create perspective and depth, create textures and patterns, suggest movement, imply motion. Up here, this star with these lines here, it's suggesting possible movement. Down here, we're trying to show emotion. Types: we have vertical lines, horizontal, diagonal, and curved. These are important things. These right here is very important. I'd make sure I get this down. Vertical represents dignity, formality, stability, and strength. You're going to see lots of these at things like state buildings, banks, because when you walk in, they want you to see dignity, they want you to think formality, they want you to think stability, strength, things that are going to last. Horizontal represents calm, peace, and relaxation. If you ever go into a hospital, you're going to see lots of horizontal lines. They want you to be peaceful, they want you to be relaxed, they want to see calmness. Diagonal, this represents action, activity, excitement, and movement. Right? Again, you're going to see lots of these if you go to sporting events. Whatever type of sporting event, you're going to see these types of lines in the design of the building. Curved represents freedom and natural, having the appearance of softness and creates a soothing feeling or mood. All right. Same thing here again. All right. Curved lines, which is what I was telling back here. Curved lines represent mood. Okay, vertical lines. All right, you see them in banks, you see them in architecture, you see this right here in the Empire State Building. Horizontal lines. All right, here's a Christian church. All right, up here, this is, I'm not quite sure what this is, but you're seeing lots of horizontal lines. Diagonal lines. All right, movement. You can see this. Here's the diagonal. This is where the people would be walking up and down. Diagonal lines. This is the bridge that people will be moving in. All right, you see diagonal lines. It's going to tell us you got lots of movement here. Curved lines are going to be showing peacefulness, tranquility. All right, relax. Softness up here with the curved lines. Color. All right, there's 3 things to color. There's hue, value, and saturation. All right, hue is the base color, value is the lightness or darkness, saturation is the pure or intense relative to gray. We have cool temperatures. Blue, purples, and greens are cool temperatures, obviously for the winter. Warm colors, reds, oranges, and yellows. Color has an immediate and profound effect on a design. All right, so we're using green. Green represents going green, trying to not use as much energy. Value, relative lightness or darkness of a color, object, or shape. This right here has a lot of value. This has very little value. Value is not about the monetary. It's about how deep is the color, how dark is the color. A lot of times value is used to represent or make things look three-dimensional. All right, by adding shading, they give it the appearance of being 3D. Shape. All right, shape is a 2D area enclosed by lines or curves. We've talked about this. Shape is what we use to find area. Shape. So we have shapes here. We have circles, squares, stars. Let's see what hexagons, rectangles. All right, we have lots of circles. So our shape here is circles. We have organic, geometric. All right, we have mechanical, which is the simple shapes, with straight and curved lines. Then we have organic, which is going to be natural or simulating nature. Here is a whole lot of different shapes where we've combined mechanical and nature there. Form, a 3D volume or solid, often implied on a 2D surface by careful use of value. So on here they're showing form. It's a 3D volume or solid, often implied on a 2D surface by careful use of value. All any of these are 2D surfaces, and by adding value, which is the shading, they give it the implication that it is a three-dimensional object. But trust me, it's on a piece of paper. There's no more than 2 dimensions. You can only measure height and width. Form. All right, here again we're seeing it's the implied visual effect of 3D objects. Space. All right, space, we have 2 types of space: positive space and negative space. Negative space is when the main object is missing. Positive space is when the main object is there. All right, so up here, if you put these two together, this is the negative space. All right, the things that are maybe a little bit blurred, and then right here, this is our positive space. What's the emphasis on? Space, evident in images with depth. Types, often uncluttered, cramped, or busy. Alright, see, this is space. This is what we call uncluttered space. Alright. In the back here, you might say this space is cramped or busy. Texture. The surface, look, or feel. Types, we have smooth ones. Alright. And then we have rough ones. Smooth ones are often going to reflect a lot more. Rough ones are not going to reflect. They're going to appear to be darker because they're not reflecting light. Again, some types of texture. We have fluffy, we have rough, and we have smooth. Okay, now we're going to move on. Now we got 7 things we're going to talk about here called the principles of design. All right, principles of design. So this is 7 different things. The other one were the elements. These 7 right here are the principles of design. Again, these are added on purpose to design. They don't just happen by chance. Balance, visual and physical balance. Our first type of balance we're going to talk about is symmetrical. It's formal balance. All right, symmetrical. The elements with the design are identical in visual weight, meaning whatever you have on the left, you have on the right. So this is symmetrical balance. This is symmetrical balance. What you have over here on the left is essentially what you have on the right. Same thing here again. Just draw a line right down the middle, and you have symmetrical balance. Asymmetrical. What's on the right is not equal to what's on the left. All right? It's balanced because there's things on both the right and the left, but they don't have the same size per se, maybe. The next one is radial. Well, that should be easy to remember. It's radius, which means it's on a circle. And radial balance means you have the same pattern happening all the way around here. So here's our radial balance. All right, again, radial balance. Emphasis. Emphasis means they've done something to put emphasis or draw the attention to one area. Obviously up here the blue circle is drawing emphasis. The man up here, or the laser, is the emphasis, or you could say that this right here, the bright spot, is the emphasis, which draws your attention to the man. Your seatbelt, because it's orange and everything else is black, draws emphasis to it. Contrast. Contrast is what do they do to bring something out. The red here is in contrast with the other 3 greens. All right, this the building is in deep contrast with compared to the building in front of it. The reds here, all right. Also, the white in the middle, you would say, is in contrast. You could say it's in contrast because it's an inorganic material where everything else is organic. They do it a lot of times in pictures to show or to draw attention to the spaces that they want you to specifically see. Rhythm. repeated use of line, shape, color, texture, or pattern. All right, so let's show you some rhythm. Regular rhythm. All right, regular rhythm essentially means that everything's going to stay the same. All right, the pattern's going to keep repeating. All right, you've got regular rhythm. Random rhythm. You have the same pattern, but it's kind of all over the place. All right, you've got this same shape here, but there's no regular pattern to it. You've got these leaves on here, so you have the same pattern, but it's irregular. And then you have gradated rhythm. So repeated element is identical with the exception of one detail increasing or decreasing gradually. So this here's gradated rhythm. Notice that the stones are getting bigger, the pieces are getting smaller, and that the tops, the roofs lines, are getting smaller, or you could say they're getting bigger. Here we have graduated rhythm. The repeated element becomes closer or further apart. All right, very pretty picture, but you know what we're looking at here is you have graduated rhythm. Some of them are closer, some of them are farther apart. Proportion. All right, comparative relationship between elements is designed with respect to size. All right, scale. The proportion or size of an element in relative to the other elements. So what we have here is proportion. We have something that's much larger than the others. Unity, meaning the design fits. Unity here is we have all these same type of figures. All right, you wouldn't expect to see a transformer in a box full of these. The transformer would stick out, the rest of them would not, because these are in unity with each other. Here you have all these trees. All right, they're in unity with each other. All of the buildings are brick buildings. If you had a log cabin sitting right here, it would stick out because it's not in unity. Economy. Economy means they've made the design very simple. All right, economy. They have just one thing here. All right, they're showing that this is the gas. Nothing else is apparent here. All right, this is another example of economy. All right, they're giving you the most basic line structures here. All right, there's other things that could be shown here as well, but it's also showing economy. All right, you could say that there's emphasis. You could say that the using of lines is important here, but at its root, they're being very economical with their design. They don't have thousands of lines on here. They just have a few lines to show you what it looks like. Well, hey, I know that's been a lot. Hopefully that's informational. I'll catch you on the flip side.